PR Connections Radio presents. This show is brought to you by Paid Per Letter. Write letters and make a difference. paidperletter.com/Uncle Dan.
Hello. Hi, Christina. Welcome to this podcast where we're going to be interviewing you, and welcome everybody who's watching. Today, we're going to be interviewing Christina on her life, her background, and what she's doing for foreign exchange students. So you could go ahead and introduce yourself, Christina, and let us know more about yourself.
Hi, Basma. Great to be here. Thank you so much for having me today. I am representing ICES. We're a foreign exchange student nonprofit. We help students abroad come to the US and achieve their American dream, and we help American students find places abroad to expand their horizons, get more cultural aptitude, and increase their language possibilities. So a little bit about me and how I got here. I majored in French and German in college, and I had two opportunities to do a foreign exchange as a student. So I got that cultural enrichment. And because I was studying foreign languages, I got a chance to see where the rubber meets the road, right?
Right.
I had studied French in grade school, in high school, and then in college. And my freshman year of college, one of my professors said, "Hey, you should go for this scholarship." And I was like, "Scholarship? What scholarship?" And he said, "Well, there's a scholarship. You would spend a summer in Canada, in Quebec City, where Quebec City, they speak Quebecois. It's not traditional Parisian French, but it's French."
Right.
And then you'd get a chance to see if what you were studying, if you really knew your stuff.
Right. Because you're living in the environment.
Yeah. And the program included a homestay with a host family. And I have a picture from that if you guys would like to see it. So you see me now around age 40. And I will show you young me around age. Actually, I was 18 here in this photo. So this is my host mother, my host father. I'm in the middle. And then in this family, we really had all of North America represented. They were so kind and took on a Canadian student and then a student from Mexico as well. So an English-speaking Canadian student, a Spanish and English-speaking student from Mexico, and then myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they had a great sense of humor, obviously. She's mock scolding me here, but I
love the reference picture. You're like, a great sense of humor. Hashtag, that's why we're laughing.
Well, I mean, there was always joking going on. We had a costume night for school, and she helped us get costumes, and just such a warm and caring family. Really made me feel as somebody in a foreign country, even if it's our neighbor to the north, made me feel welcome and at home and comfortable enough to express myself in a foreign language all the time. So
right. It must have been difficult, for you to navigate and form those relationships in a totally new cultural environment. And then, like other foreign exchange students, when they're going to school and then they have to learn a new language sometimes they already know it because they learned it in their homeland. But like if they have to learn that new language and then having that new cultural environment, that's a lot. That could be very stressful.
Yeah. With most exchange programs, you already have learned the language in school.
Right.
But there's very much a difference between what you learn in school and what's actually spoken.
Right. So did you enjoy that program because you were able to get that firsthand experience while you were studying?
It was phenomenal, really. I'm so grateful to my professor who suggested it, and then my host family, of course. My fellow students were fantastic. It was my first time out of the country. It was my first time out of the country. Actually, no, I take it back. It was my first time out of the country on my own.
Wow.
I had been to Germany with a tour group previously, but first time out of the country on my own. So, like, I just finished my first year of college, and
That's early on too. Like you just early on decided I want to go study abroad, right? You finish high school, you go to college, and you're like, you know what? Since they suggested this, that's brave. You were courageous, huh?
yeah, and now I work with high school students. So, like, I was 18 or 19. I was legally an adult, could not drink in the US. Drinking age in Canada is 18, so I could legally
Wow.
drink in Canada. But I was a legal adult. I was already making decisions. I was in college. So, taking responsibility for my own schedule and making sure that I was
Right.
getting my own grades sorted and all of that. So when you are dealing with high school students, it's a little bit more hands-on.
Yeah, because
Because
they're in
they
their
don't have the full
right.
set of skills that a college student does.
Right, right. Yeah, because even me, like when I was around 18, my family was worried about me just traveling to a new city, a new state, new anything really, because that's just traveling. But for you to travel and live alone, like living alone, that's its own struggle in itself as well, because you never know what can come up, and you need to take care of yourself and have those a bit that those skills. Are you currently helping foreign exchange students with those skills, or are you more of an advisor? What are you doing right now with foreign exchange students?
So right now, we are looking for host families for these exchange students as they
Right.
come in. So really what we're looking for is folks who um, want folks who are curious in other cultures, but who may or may not have the time, money, or accessibility to travel themselves. Or even if they can travel, that they're choosing to stay in the US for a little while. Um, Most of the times, the when you think about, oh, who would be a good host family, people think, well, I have to have a high school kid myself, and I have to be a married couple. Well, yes, that's good, but
Right.
we
Mhm.
also take single family households. So if you are a single parent and you may have kids, maybe your kids have grown up and left the house. Maybe you've got younger kids and you just want somebody like to hang out with who's almost an adult, but not quite.
So
Um,
Christina, you're saying we, so I'm curious, what's that name again for the organization that is this your organization? Is this an organization you're assisting, or what? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
yeah, so I am working for, it is not my organization, but I'm working for ICES.
Right.
ICES stands for um, International Cultural Exchange Services.
Right.
They're founded in 1991. So we've been doing foreign exchange for, oh gosh, now I have to math, over 20 years, over 30 years,
A
actually.
long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So 91, 2001, 2010,
You don't
21,
have to.
and 2021. So 30 years and change. We've been doing foreign exchange placements. Um, we really focus on high school exchange,
Okay.
both for Americans going abroad and international students coming to the US. There is a full system of support for host families, uh,
Okay.
including a location coordinator, which is my title.
Gotcha.
So I find a host family, interview the family. We have to run a background check. Um, and then we try and find a student that matches a family's personality and interests.
Right.
So if you're a family that really loves the outdoors, then we want to find a student that also loves the outdoors.
Right. Because you want them to
Family that
adapt.
has board game night, well, we want to find a student that loves board games.
Right. Okay. Because the experiences that they're going to have, we want to make sure that they're going to be able to adapt to those experiences to things that they actually would enjoy, because it's already going to be a lot. So that's a good de-stress in a way. Like, that's how I would look at it.
Yeah, and the point of foreign exchange is there's quite a few levels to it. So from the most personal level is you have an interest in foreign cultures and you want to experience those cultures up close.
Right.
So if you are fascinated, I've got a girlfriend who's fascinated by Japan. So she thought about hosting a exchange student from Japan so that she could get to know the culture and the country just a little bit better before going over.
Okay.
I have some contacts who are, maybe you've got cultural heritage. Your family came over from maybe South Korea or from Germany or from somewhere a few generations ago, or maybe you're second generation and you want to rekindle that connection back to the
Right.
ancestral homeland.
Right.
So for me, I thought that my family was French. We're not French. We were never French. But I thought in second grade, I thought we were French. And that's why I studied French.
Does your family speak French?
No, we have no connection to France whatsoever. None. Zero.
That's so funny.
But when you're like 7, you make things up, right?
Right, right. So maybe someone asked you a question and then like you just connected those dots. Oh yeah, I'm French. Yeah. No, this is now my heritage.
They offered classes and I said, I want to do that.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because I'm French.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, like it's like me when I was younger. I would watch manga and anime, and I would think, oh, I love the Japanese and all these different cultures that are related to whatever I'm watching, and then I would be like, ah, now I love eating their food, and now this is a part of my life, you know. And it's kind of true, honestly. Like when you're in an environment or you're just eating certain foods, you're kind of taking on and learning more about that culture, so you feel like it's a part of your personality at that point. Because I'm like, for me, I'm Lebanese. If my family's from Lebanon, I wasn't raised there. I was raised in America. So now I have American tendencies. And then if I'm watching anime, I have there's a lot of differences there than someone who was just raised in Lebanon, you know?
Yeah.
So can you discuss any of the personal experiences that maybe some of the students that you've spoken with have experienced that highlight the positive impacts of becoming a foreign exchange student?
Yeah. So the students, for them, really, it's achieving their American dream.
Right.
So they, to move up a little bit, another level. So personally, this is exchange experience. It's great. It's fun. Yay. For the students, the next level up is multifold. There's a societal component. It's getting to know the US as, okay, this is an actual place with actual people. They have the same like basic concerns as we do. Everybody wants to have a peaceful home. We all want to take care of our family. We all want to, have a good life for ourselves and the people that we love.
Right.
For students, they see that, okay, maybe America in the movies is all chase scenes and fancy houses and Rodeo Drive. Well, it's not always that way. There's regular people here too, and they're really nice.
Right, and we could say the same thing if we're watching. Like for me, when I'm watching a Korean movie, I'm like, oh, I love this stuff and this stuff, and we don't know if it's actually there in those real life experiences. So it's the same thing for any culture, really, in that aspect.
Yeah. So it's kind of that opposition of, is it Hollywood or is it real?
Right.
And this way, students from abroad can see, okay, it's real. High schools are real. prom is real. Friday night lights, well, okay, kind of over dramatic, but tailgate parties exist. Football teams are a thing. That
Right.
school
Right.
spirit, not all schools, not all countries have school spirit the way Americans have school spirit.
Right. Of
It
course.
is it is a very American phenomenon. Um, so like trying out for the cheerleading team, it can be a really compelling thing for a student to be like, I want to do that. I want to try out at least. And we can't guarantee that anybody will make any team. That is completely on the school and the student,
Right.
but
And
it's
then it
something
could
that they
also
can
be
think about, right?
right. And then when they get into it, if they do get into it, it could also be extremely way different than what they thought the experience was going to be like in the first place. Or maybe it's different than where they're, like you said, if they're experiencing from where they're from, when they come to America, and then it could be all different, all of it. And then for you were still talking more about the more positive experiences. So you talk about the societal impact, and then the perspective impact. What else you got?
Yeah. So like instead of being Hollywood caricatures, people realize, or the incoming students realize, oh, uh, uh, they're real people. And the host family, they get to see a new culture from their couch.
Right.
Like, a lot of times if you are interested in experiencing new cultures, it can be work to go and do that.
Right.
You want to do that in a culturally appropriate way. You don't want to be exploitative. Well, this way, you don't have to save up a lot of money. You don't have to go through the airport, no visas, uh, no vaccines, no nothing. You just have the student come to you. Like
Right.
if you're going to Africa, for example. So my husband and I, we did Kilimanjaro, and you had to go through and get vaccines. So that's why I say vaccines, not because anything else, but I'm talking like yellow fever and things like that.
Right. Right.
Um, so when we did Kilimanjaro, we went with a tour group, and we made friends with the guides to learn about their culture. Now, that was a lot of money and a lot of effort to learn about the culture of
Right.
Tanzania.
Sure.
Totally worth it, 100% worth it. But not everybody can afford that time off and the monetary expense. So, and you have a very short time period to do it.
Right.
Most Americans get 2 weeks vacation. How quickly can you immerse yourself in a culture with 2 weeks? Like you can scratch the surface, and you can say, "Oh, okay, I went to Paris and I had some baguettes, and I went to like the Eiffel Tower and a few other things." But you don't get the same perspective as waking up
Right.
with a host family where you have your chicory coffee in this massive mug that's like a bowl with uh your bread and your jam and your spread. It's a different, even as something as small as a breakfast is different
So
when you're a
you would
tourist.
say overall the positive impact of being a foreign exchange student is like you're creating memories, you're creating experiences that you can share with others, you're creating, like, it's just mostly memories really, because you're just creating a new part of your life without just watching it on TV. You're getting to experience it, and that's a completely other feeling of belonging, and a feeling of support, and feeling of just having and being.
It
And you said
is,
that you guys offer or not offer, I'm not sure if you offer it, but some type of scholarships for people who are interested in becoming foreign exchange students.
yeah, we have scholarship opportunities for foreign exchange students. You can find out more at our website, icesusa.org. And it's called the Bridging Cultures Scholarship. We just closed the applications for that earlier this month, unfortunately. So the 2024-2025 school year is complete, but you can start your prep work now if you're looking to study abroad next year. We are accepting host family applications now we have probably 20 students that we're looking to host in the Western area. And the benefits for a host family, we've been talking about what are the benefits for students, but the benefits for the host family, there are benefits for a host family as well. There's a small tax write-off. And like I said, you get a foreign culture while you're sitting on your own couch. You also get to influence a engaged, driven student, and in a really positive way. You had mentioned support. Host families wind up being very supportive families for these students because you've signed up for this cultural experience. But also, what I feel host families generally have is an abundance of love and care for other people.
Right. Yes.
And this way you can love and care for somebody who's radically different from you.
So you said you're looking for 20 individuals. Is that for hosts or is that for students?
Hosts. We are looking for host families for students. Right now, we have about 20 students who want to come to the US for the 2024-2025 school year.
Okay.
So they want to come in August, and we have to get visas cleared and all of this. And in order to get their visas, we have to have a host family that's willing to host them.
Right.
So we can get a lot of the paperwork done in advance, but if we can't place the student, then it's frustrating for everybody.
And are the students there? You said that they are under 18. Are they over 18? Like, is there a specific age range that you guys work with?
Yep, we focus, like I said, on high school students. There are 15 to 19. Some countries have a high school that goes longer than ours, so there may be students that are coming in at age 18 and they turn 19 during the school year, for example.
Okay, that's where my question mostly was, because I know you said under 18, but I was wondering, are they also over 18? Because you never know. Okay, so then thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing all this information about foreign exchange students, because we don't really hear much about it. If you want to learn more about it in your schools, you usually have to go to an office and ask and take that initiative, or you find a group at the university or the college of wherever you're going, and then they end up giving you more information. You guys are you guys associated, before we leave, with the CSN right now, and UNLV, or is it also Nevada State College? Is it also everywhere in Vegas, in all the colleges in Vegas and universities?
So my experience was with a college exchange program. The company I'm working for now, or the nonprofit I'm working for now, focuses exclusively on, or 99% on, high school students. College exchange programs are usually administered by the university themselves, or they're through like I had a scholarship program, and then I did a second exchange program that was through my college office. So they don't need a third party to organize that.
Copy that.
For high school students, there's a State Department program. Actually, it's called the J-1 visa. All of our students go through that J-1 visa process. So you get students that are vetted and assured that they're, they've got their visa and they've gone through all the State Department background checks. So safe. And because we're part of the State Department program, that the purpose of high school and foreign exchange is to actually advocate for world peace through people knowing each other's cultures very intimately. So the State Department also vets the host family. So a host family that's like, yeah, I'd love to have culture from my couch. We do have to do a background check on every family member in the house, but it's a straightforward, very fast process.
Right. Just like if anyone else was going to adopt a child, like they're going to have those types of investigations and questions and comments. Like, why do you want this? Like it'd be any casual, any other type of government related situation like that. I do have another question. Since they're going to come and study abroad, are they also going to be having an accredited high school diploma, or is it still going to be counted? Is it going to be counted as both? Do you know?
So the actual high school diploma usually will not be from CCSD. It will be from their home high school.
Okay.
So like the students are here just for one year, either a semester or a year, school year. So 4 months or 9 months, and then they go back home.
Okay.
So you mentioned fostering. If you've got that love and the spare room, sometimes you may consider fostering, but fostering is it can be emotionally tricky, and you may not be ready to foster. Looking at a foreign exchange student is actually a kind of great way to prepare yourself for fostering.
Right.
Because you'll be taking emotional responsibility for this child, but they're a high schooler. They want to be there. They know, everybody knows, they are going back at a certain time. So it's different from foster care, but a nice way to kind of ease into it and see, hey, how does having somebody in my family who's not from my family, how does that work for me and my family? So like foster care with training wheels.
The student gets a say, right, in their host family, or no?
I'm sorry?
Does the student also have a say in their host family if they are trying to study abroad, and then they get chosen for a host family? Do they have a say in that?
Yeah, they do. Usually there are more students that want to study abroad than there are host families who have volunteered.
Hence
so so usually students are just excited that they've got a family that's willing to host them. But we really do try and find something that works for all parties involved, for the host family and for the student, because we want this to be a really great experience.
Right.
I want the family to have a great experience. I want the student to have a great experience. So that afterwards the student says, oh my gosh, this was so amazing. Thank you so much. If you ever want to come out to Slovakia or Italy or Taiwan or Singapore, wherever they're from, you have an open invitation. Please come. I'd love for you to meet my parents. I'd love for you to see these places that I talked about when we were together. So that way a host family, for example, can really get that deep insight and sometimes even save a little bit on travel if you wind up staying with your student or your student's family.
Especially if they get that scholarship too. It'll be good for both the host family and for the student as well. Thank you so much, Christina, for sharing all this information about studying abroad and foreign exchange students and becoming one and becoming a host, telling us about the need for more hosts to be hosting. Just like I'm hosting this episode, we would like for you guys to be hosting a foreign exchange student. If you're interested, check her out at the website that she has mentioned. If you can give it to us one more time before we head on out. I know you've already said it like 4 times, but
repetition is awesome. By the way, we're looking for host families. We accept single host families. We accept host families that might be a little bit older, empty nesters. We accept same-sex host families. I'm actually actively looking for host families with LGBTQ plus connections. That would be wonderful if somebody would mention it. And you can find it at icesusa.org.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.